thank you all for coming. I'm a little bit surprised how few people there are in the audience, but I see a lot of people drinking beers at lunchtime, so I imagine most people are sleeping it off now. But if you could just do a little bit of a big cheer for me, try and get a few more people in. Hey! Thank you. So, I'd like to start by introducing you to Barry, the amazing founder of Avocado. Barry's come up with an amazing product idea which brings together a dozen different point solutions into a single product, streamlining a ton of workflows and saving customers a ton of money. It's going to be nothing short of revolutionary for his industry. Barry knows he's onto something amazing because all the feedback he's been getting from his sort of friends in the industry have been saying really positive things. Everyone loves what he's doing, they love his vision, and they've encouraged him to kind of quit his job and pursue his dream. And they've assured him that if he does that, they will be the first through the door as customers. So Barry's feeling really good, amazing signals. So spurred by all this positive sentiment, Barry's handed in his notice, he's gone to a bunch of top VCs, and he's raised $1 million to bring his vision to life. Now Barry, like probably many people in the room, and like me definitely, is a product person at heart. He loves to build. As such, he spends 9 months assembling a team of amazing designers and engineers, and he pulls together an MVP, and he's almost ready. He's got a wait list of 300 people. He can't wait to see the traffic rolling in. This is going to be huge. And so Barry makes a big announcement, tells all his friends, sends out the big email to all his contacts, hits publish, and waits. And waits. And waits some more. But nothing. Crickets. So Barry goes back to his network to find out what's going on. They still love what he's doing, but things are a bit rough at the moment in the economy, and also they're really busy. Their current workflow isn't great, but it's kind of satisfying. And so they give Barry some advice. Say, look, come back to me in a couple of months' time and things have come down at work, and also you've added a whole bunch of these new features. And so Barry goes, okay, they want SOC 2 compliance, they want kind of account management. I'm going to go away and I'm going to build some more. And so that's what Barry does. And Barry does this because his knee-jerk reaction as a product person is to go and build. That's what we do, we build. And so he goes away and he adds all these features. And when he goes back to his network and says, hey, look, I've announced all the features that you asked me for, they go, well, that's great. It's really good you've added feature X, but we now need feature Y. And so he goes back and builds feature Y. And then they say, well, it's great you've added feature Y, but we now need feature Z. It feels like every time he launches a thing, he's expected to just launch a little bit more. And it feels like this never-ending spiral. Now, Barry believes if people just give his product a try, they would see how much better it is than everything else out there on the market. He's building something really big, and people just don't get it. So whenever Barry's talking to his customers, he tries to set the record straight. His customers will kind of say, oh, your product's a little bit like X. And he goes, well, no, actually, it's not like X at all. It's like X plus Y plus Z. And then he starts jumping into a list of all the amazing features, all the things that his product can do that the other products can't on the market. But whenever he does this, he can feel his customers' eyes glaze over. They're just not really feeling the passion that he's feeling. So Barry tries a few different things. He hires a salesperson for 3 months. He thinks, well, sales is big. I'm going to go out and I'm going to hire a salesperson. But in 3 months' time, that salesperson hasn't landed any contracts. He fires that salesperson. He's also tried content marketing. Same thing. Hires a content marketer. 3-4 months later, sure, he's got a few more followers on Twitter or X or Blue Sky or whatever, but none of it's converting. So he makes a big decision. I'm going to not bother with sales. I'm not bother with marketing. I'm going to just lean all of my effort into product-led growth. Now, I don't know how many of you resonate with this situation. I know it's something that I've seen happen all the time. There's a few hands going up. He's just sort of trying everything he can do to kind of get out of this hole. The problem is Barry's on 2K MRR a month. His investors have told him, like, in 9 months' time, you need to be on 10K MRR minimum to raise a round. And so Barry's feeling really stuck. How is he going to go from 2 to 10K when in the last 6 months, nothing's been working? Hopefully you identify with Barry. I know I do. The other person in this story I'm going to talk about is Marta. Now, Marta's in a slightly different situation. Marta is a salesperson by heart. She could sort of talk the hind legs off a donkey. Everyone tells her that she's an amazing salesperson, and she is. Marta has put an amazing go-to-market motion into process. She's sending out hundreds of outbound messages a week. She's managed to get the response rate up from a low 4% to a whopping 20%, so much so that Marta's become a demo machine. Every day, every week, 5, 6 demos. Bang, 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 bang. And a lot of those demos are landing. A lot of those demos are converting into customers. In fact, things are going so well for Marta, she's decided that she's going to hire an SDR to take some of the weight off her shoulders, and she might very soon hire a couple of account managers to play her playbook. Sounds amazing. However, Marta has a secret. It's a secret she's sort of hiding from a lot of people. She's hiding it from her VCs. While uptake is good, while a lot of people are kind of, saying they're going to join, actually, activation is really poor. It turns out that actually only 20% of the people she talks to finish the onboarding and become users. And what's worse, her churn is through the floor. People are churning at kind of like 15% a month when it should be 4 or 5. As such, she's done the numbers and she knows that all of her customers, basically, that she's got in the previous year will churn over the next 12 months. This is a real problem, and this is not going to make fundraising easy. Something isn't landing with the product, and she doesn't know what. People are signing up based on Martha's vision, but the product isn't delivering. The sign-up process is a bit long and convoluted. So maybe people are not getting the value fast enough. People are kind of churning before they've even completed it. And work deadlines for users are looming. So people give the product a try. They can't quite figure it out. And so they say, well, I'll go back to what I was doing before, and I'll come back to this product in a week or two's time. But a week or two turns into 3 weeks, turns into 4 weeks. And after a while, they've forgotten they've even signed up to this product. They never come back. They quickly forget. Now, people backing away from them going, so they effectively made a market. They didn't focus on features. They focused on the problem. They communicated this was a really undesirable kind of social ill. They made a whole bunch of people feel really paranoid about this stuff, and people go out and then buy this brand new product. And so in a weird kind of way, this is what we need to do as founders. We can't just go telling people, it has this feature, it does this thing. We need to build up motivation. We need to explain to people why this stuff is important. And I see very few founders doing a good enough job of this. I talked a bit about value delivery over time. I meet so many startups where you jump into a product and it takes you ages to get onboarded. It takes you even longer to find value. I was working with a startup founder in our portfolio who would have a wait list. You'd wait for a wait list for 2 months. You'd then get an interview. You'd go through a demo, and only then would you get to see the product. By the time you've gone through this 2-month process, half of the email addresses have gone dead because people have moved on. Or if they've not gone dead, people have already found solutions. Then you go and you have to force them through a really boring kind of onboarding process. And then it's only after a couple of months they're starting to get value. And so really focusing on the speed of value delivery is hugely important. Stickiness, one of the key problems is baking behavior into your product. If you're trying to sell a new product and people are used to solving that problem some way else, they're using a spreadsheet, they're using a Google product, they're using a competitor. They're going to try you once and they're going to get bored and they're going to go back to their current process. And so you need to build stickiness in. You need to build virality in. And so these are all kind of like the key components. I won't go through them all in piece because I'm running out of time now. But you're going to get what I'm saying. Generally, the reason why you're struggling is because it's one of these things. And half of these things are market related, half of these things are product related. And if you bring them together nicely, you find product market fit. So, every successful founder you will talk to has probably been in the situation before. They've either been in Barry's situation or they've been in Marta's situation. They've found themselves in a dip and they've started to worry. However, the difference is they've not panicked. They've not just thrown a bunch of things at the wall and hoping it stuck. They didn't just start throwing money at hiring people in the hope that it would kind of solve their problem. They stepped back. They took an objective view of the reason that was the thing that was stopping them from growing. They figured out what was broken and they addressed it through a whole bunch of hypotheses and addressing those root causes directly. So the thing I ask you is to really, if you find yourself in that dip, really think about what argument of the growth equation is holding you back, and then go back to your office tomorrow and really figure out a strategy around how you're going to deal with it. So thank you very much.